at the Nyamira case, it cuts across the country. And we are doing most of these, colonial, or they are mostly now found in Nassau areas. The dry areas, talk of Wajir, talk of Madera, talk of Garissa, talk of Kitui, the Ukamban region, Kajiado, all these dry areas, Nyeri, the Kieni areas of Nyeri. We have done most of this, the 450 or so water plants are distributed within those areas. And I want to confirm that using that model, we have been able, as NIA, we have been able to actualize about almost 25,000 is under production. And when you look at, in matters food security, this has gone a step, has gone in a big way. In fact, you can go to areas like Wajir, where probably you don't expect to get any production. But with the models of these water plants, we are able to produce and, create resilience within the communities and ensure food security.
Maybe, Engineer, we can talk land under irrigation. The Kenya Kwanza government is quite ambitious on this front. We are 80% arid and semi-arid in comparison to other countries like Uganda, which is 80% arable. And they're doing quite well when it comes to matters rainfall. Maybe if you could just tell us, we've been growing at 4% per annum since the 70s. Is this progress that the Irrigation Authority is happy with, or are there adjustments that are going to be made?
Well, indeed, let me mention that currently, as a country, and since independence, we have just managed to put about 670,000 acres under irrigation, as you put it. And when you look at the targets which are there to be able to make this country food secure, our very target is at least to push this to almost between 1.2 to 1.5 million acres. In the next, I would say in the next four years or so. And when you look at what we have been able to do, I want to say by the year 2010, we were just at a mere 370. So the momentum is now moving from 370 or thereabout to where we are now. We managed to do it in the last, in the last 8 years or so, last 8 to 10 years. So I want to look at this ambitious program now of water harvesting, because one of the challenges in irrigation development has been now the issue of the investments, because irrigation requires a lot of water. Right. And to harvest this water, you do require these big dams, and it's an heavy investment. So I think now we are on the right track as a country. I want to believe in the next few years, in the next 5 years, we should be beyond 1 million acres. And that should be irrigation, and sort the issue of food insecurity in this country was an unfold. But a bit of statistics, when you look at it, when you look at a country, what are our staple food crops, or in terms of matters food security? And I think we are talking about maize, we are talking about rice, talking about wheat, or thereabout. And let me speak about maize and, rice. Right. So as NIA, because that is our domain, that's normally where we have been driving the agenda for this country in terms of rice production. When you look at what is an irrigation today, it's about 72,000 acres, or thereabout. What are we producing? We are just producing a mere about 200,000 metric tons. But when you look at the deficit which is there, onwards of 500,000 metric tons. Right. And believe me, if we put 200,000 acres under rice production as a country, we'll once and for all sort out the issue of deficit in terms of rice in this country. And maybe be able to save a lot of, foreign exchange. Then when I go to maize, and the programs which are there, when you look at the deficit every other year, it's about 8 to 12 million bags or so. So what do you need to put under irrigation? It's just a mere about 200 to 250,000 acres under production. And under the programs which we have laid, which are put in place, okay, starting with Galana, which alone is about 200,000 acres alone. So Galana alone can really more or less sort out the issue of food insecurity in matters maize in this country. Because it's a place where we can grow, 2 crops in a year, so 2 cycles in a year. And if you put 200,000 acres under irrigation, producing about 40 bags per acre, 8 million bags. So in a 2 cycle, you only have almost 60 million bags. So the issue of maize deficit is sorted out. And I think now focusing on these two, then now, of course, we can also target on the others and sort out this issue once and for all.
Right, Engineer, you've brought up food insecurity, which is usually a very hot topic when it comes to Kenyans. Last year, we experienced one of the worst bouts of drought in the country, and a lot of people were regretting that we were not harvesting rainwater appropriately and adequately. This year, the weatherman has just said in 3 months, we will be experiencing El Nino. Now, what are some of the steps taken, or what are some of the steps that you would recommend to ensure that we start harvesting this rainwater as early as possible so that we avoid drought?